This is To the Bar. Strength in every story. And now for today's show.
Right.
Welcome to the bar.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're a dog.
Thank you very much. Season 2.
Season 2, what a day. Well, what a
Season
weekend.
Dos. Yes, we are at the English Championships at Birmingham, NEC.
Well, we're at the end of the English Championships. Yeah. It's been a really good weekend.
Yes.
Well, that was hesitant.
Well, no, it's been fantastic. It started off... So, obviously, I think the first thing to get out, the elephant in the room from the Welsh, the Scottish, and the English, and the age groups, has been computer glitches. So, obviously, BWL and the other home nations have started shifting across, and we did with Attica, shifted across to the OWL system, which is a competition management system, which is run by Jean-Francois Lamy, who is, I mean, the system's great, it really is. But with every iteration, there comes a few bugs or little niggles, and they've just been ironed out as they go along. But unavoidable. It wasn't the software this time, was it?
No. So the weather, I think, had an impact on the NEC's Wi-Fi. So luckily, the BWL staff were all. I don't know, they had the forethought to have a backup plan. Yeah. And so we had systems upon systems, didn't we? So even though ours wasn't accessible because we didn't have strong Wi-Fi, we were able to resort back to the good old days of Excel. Yeah.
I mean, I think we were probably half an hour late to start, and yet we still finished on time.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was quite funny. We were running, we certainly from the marshal's standpoint, we had runners when we were making changes on the marshal's cards that we would have to send someone running to the front desk with a bit of paper,
or in my case on Saturday, very long WhatsApp lists of names and numbers as TOs swap numbers to WhatsApp one another, the changes. But one thing though that I really appreciated about this weekend, even though we had the IT issues, was that if I think back to when we first did episode 1 of To The Bar, I'm pretty sure if I listen to it back now, a lot of it would be me talking about how difficult the relationship was between us and the coaches, or the TOs and the athletes. And actually, I can't think of one coach that had any kind of moan at me or anyone that I was around about the system. We all were just in it together. When it was frustrating for all of us. I mean, it was frustrating for us at times, frustrating for the coaches, but it was a really nice experience to just sort of pull together and be like, okay, this is where we're at. How do we fix it? Or what do we do best between us for the athlete? How can we guesstimate how long the delay is going to be? Or it was really nice. I thought it really demonstrated a bit of a change between the community and the back room of the comps. Yeah,
you're right. And I think it's one of the first times that I lost count of how many times I was chatting to coaches and athletes, hugging them. And there's TOs when I first started. He just didn't do that. It was. Well,
you don't do that anyway.
No.
Who the hell do you talk to?
Who are you?
Exactly. I'm surprised you remember my name. Antisocial. But yeah, it's true. It's true. I remember the first time I TO'd, the way the coaches looked at, the way I was interpreting the coaches were looking at me, it was as somebody that was how I would look at a police officer. You know, like somebody.
Jesus.
I don't care.
Have a look at the 5-0.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
somebody that wants a bit of power and somebody that wants to. They want you to break the law so that they can put you in handcuffs. Like, I know that's not what all police officers want, but that is how I would view them.
My
as
niece is a
northerner.
police officer.
Yes, I know. It's fine. I'm not judging. But you know what I mean. Like they look like I felt like they were looking at me as like somebody that wanted an athlete to fail.
Yeah.
And now it feels like we're all very much gathered around those screens in the warm-up area, cheering together.
Yeah, we want everyone to succeed.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Yes, yeah, really good.
Yeah.
And obviously this time, well...
Whoa! Fucking sorry. Just dropped my tea. If you're listening, rather than watching, I just dropped a cup of tea on me. Yeah. So, welcome back. Apologies for the brief interlude, as I had to clean up myself because I dropped tea all over myself. Tea incident done.
Tea incident over.
Yeah.
Don't take a mouthful of tea as speaking.
Yeah.
But yes, anyway, back to the English. So, much like the last couple of comps that BWL have done, it was at the NEC in Birmingham and part of Fitfest. Yeah. I feel like it was even bigger this time.
I was gutted. Didn't get to see any of it.
Yeah, I had a small wander this morning to get some free samples for us, but
Yeah.
it seemed much bigger, much busier. What I really liked was our platform setup.
Yeah.
All 3 platforms in a line. If you haven't seen it, we've done a couple of reels on our Instagram that you can go and just have a quick look. You'll see. So we had the green, red and blue platforms all in a line, one next to one another. So right in the middle as well, which was great. You had Athex on one side.
Bless you.
Fitfest on the other, British rowing. You had British. Oh, what was the one with the wall? I literally said it to you in the car.
OCD.
No.
Obstacle course.
Oh, was that what it? They can't have used OCD as their.
No, it's obstacle course. OCR. Well, that's the one where they ran up the hill thing.
Yeah. They had all sorts of weird. Like I went and looked at it. They had all sorts of weird stuff. But yeah, obstacle courses. Lots of stalls.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was great. It was really good. I imagine as a spectator, it must have been great.
Yeah. Especially the free. Oh my god. How many grenade boxes?
I don't know how Grenade make any money with how many boxes they walked out with. That was insane.
So this is obviously Sunday, so day 2. We got there at 8 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
Before it all kicked off, and we saw 2 guys walking out back to their cars with not just a box of grenade, but a box of a box.
Yeah.
So there must have been like 8 boxes within them.
Yeah.
Just 3 of those.
Yeah.
Just carting them back to the car.
Just throwing them at people, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I might have a couple. Yeah. But yeah, I think that really makes a difference. I really like the comps in amongst all of that stuff. I mean, it can get a bit noisy when you're the marshal for a long time. No, but not noisy in the sense of it's off-putting. I think I just get a little bit overstimulated in the sense of there's a lot going on. But atmosphere-wise, you know, when you see those athletes that really need to make a lift, either to qualify, to medal, to not bomb, that's the place, right? You're getting a atmosphere there. You're getting people stopping that don't know what weightlifting is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, very interesting. I think again it goes back to that footfall, you know, and it's the innovation of you know, what was it, a year ago when we did Manchester for the British, which was an amazing venue. You know, the technology, the screen, and all that stuff was fantastic.
Was the year before even?
Was it the year before?
Yeah.
But the people in the crowd, there
was no crowd.
There wasn't anyone.
Yeah.
It was coaches, athletes for the next session, and some friends and family. That was it.
Yeah.
Whereas this, you know, it really was packed out.
So yeah, I mean, you know, when you talk about footfall, I think one of the things that I really noticed. So on Saturday, I spent the day on the green platform, obviously, as you know, which was the Masters platform, and my first group was men's 55 to 69. Is that right? Is that a group? Anyway, it was the oldest group for the males. which traditionally, if you think about Banger, say maybe, or even British weightlifting's masters groups, the crowds are very minimal, aren't they? Really, and it's quite, the atmosphere wouldn't be as thrilling as it was at Fitfest. But I had Aaron Lindsay as a speaker, and some incredible lifters, people like Andrew Sieber, and really, really talented lifters coming out, and people were stopping because you're going to stop, aren't you, when a 67-year-old guy comes out and snatches 70 kilos. It's just incredible to watch.
Yeah.
But you don't know that people are doing that if it's not in the middle of something like Fitfest. And what I really appreciated was the speaker, so Aaron Lindsay, repeatedly saying things like, if I could be doing this like this, I can't do this now, I can't lift this now, and pointing out the difference between how much was on the bar and how much the individual weighed, and explaining it as if nobody in the crowd knew what weightlifting was, so that it did catch the attention of people walking by. So he was saying people's ages when they came, this is X years old, and I really liked that. It really made a difference in terms of appreciating how hard some of those masters lifters work to still be able to move the way that they do. And there was a guy, I think his name was Peter, I want to say Peter Lull, I can't remember, but I actually went into the back room to say to him how incredible he was to watch. He set a new clean and jerk record and a new total record in that group. And he moved better than most of the people in our gym do on a regular basis. And where do you get to showcase that talent if not somewhere like the NEC?
Yeah.
Like in the English, at a national championships. Like, it was a privilege to sit and ref that group. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think I only refed the one group, and then the rest was marshalling, if I remember. Oh yes, it definitely was, because I've got 3 or 4 different WhatsApp groups. Yeah. So the rest of it was marshalling, but I had a really great time. And then obviously joining you for the last group for the coaching. But you had a really nice day. You had a varied day.
Yeah, really mixed. So I think, what was it? 2 marshallings, 1 reffing.
Yeah.
And then managed to get I had to swap because I managed to sort of coach. The plan was to coach Ike in the masters group in the last session. But also then had time off in between, and it just gave me a real mix. So not only TOing and marshalling, but also reffing, but then time off to take some photos. And actually, whilst we're on the photosy bit, the one thing I really appreciated from this compared to the British was the tightening down of people's entourage.
Oh God!
Coming into the warm-up area.
We can just literally narrow it down to security.
Yeah.
The fact that you had to show a wristband to get into the warm-up area.
Yeah.
Well done. Kudos to BWL, because that made a lot of difference, didn't it?
Yeah. Everyone turning up with a
gimbal
camera crew, thinking they were the next, I don't know, whoever. But it just made a difference. But it also meant that if you wanted to take photos, you had to apply and get authorization, which we obviously went ahead and did, which gave me the flexibility to be able to go out and take some photos of some amazing lifters.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would have been the amazing group of Emily Pelter and Eliza Pratt.
Oh, I was off this group as well, and I just mooched around the warm-up area just to watch them warming up, because that was my favourite group. Yeah. That was such a... That group was stacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's Norrin in there as well.
Norrin, Emily Grimmett.
Yeah.
I didn't know where to look.
She's so strong.
I know, and considering how injured she'd been with her wrist.
Said she did her wrist.
She broke her wrist, doing powerlifting. Anyway, that group... I get distracted. Yeah. That group... Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just strong girls, definitely. Yeah, really enjoy that group.
Yeah, so I managed to take some great photos, which we'll put out at some point soon.
Yep.
And then refed straight after that, centre ref, which is great fun. I've not refed in a while. I don't know how you feel about it, but when you don't ref for a while, big comms, you sort of get a bit, not rusty, but the first time you sit in the chair, you're like,
It's
shit.
nerves. It's nerves, isn't it?
I feel like I should have just done, a couple of hours of YouTubing just to sort of get my eye back in. But as soon as the first couple of lifts were done, it was
you know what you're doing. It's just the nerves, but yeah, it's sort of how I felt with the centre ref thing. But reffing is my least favourite role of all the roles, so I think I always feel a little bit like that because I don't like that. It's not that I don't like that part of TOing, it's my least favourite. So yeah. But yeah, good day on Saturday, definitely. And it was really nice for us both again to be free for the two lifters that were from our club in the Masters group. So we had John Wilkins and Ike Duque.
Yeah, that was great actually. It was so nice to be able to. I guess it's just that whole varied part of being a TO and being a supporter of weightlifting and a lover of weightlifting, because you get to see the amazing talent as a TO. I got to mooch around just taking pictures of, and
get your media pass.
Yeah, it's one thing taking. I don't mind taking pictures of the lifts, which is all right, but I love the emotional part. So. The celebration of the lifts, or the capturing moments where someone sat down and that real the mindset as the people are working through, and you can see it in their faces how they're focusing, they're visualizing what they're going to go out and do. And hopefully I've managed to capture some of those images, some of those moments.
I mean the ones I've seen, they're definitely there's some really good photos in there. So I'm looking forward to putting them out. But I mean the Saturday I really enjoyed. It was a late. It wasn't the latest finish we've ever had, but for me it was a late finish. It was a long day. Obviously we had to be there for the briefing for 8:30, and I think we left the building at maybe 7:30. So nearly 12 hours. But 12 hours, as you say, of lots of different varieties of weightlifting, and as two people who love weightlifting, what more could we have wanted? Exactly. Saw some incredible scenes. I mean, Amelie Pelter, I could watch her lift all day, same as Eliza Pratt. They're both two favourites of mine. So really good day.
And caught up with some amazing coaches again. So Mems, Amy from Resilience.
Amy Kirby.
Yeah,
I half feel like I only TO now just to go and hang out with your mates, right?
Like, Benedict, Mike Calls was great. I didn't realise he was turning up, but when he popped up, I was like, Mike.
It's nice. It's nice when everybody gets together like that.
Yeah.
So obviously Saturday, great day. Today, last day, another really good day.
Actually, before we move on, the one thing I think I missed out on was, so obviously Mike was there, as I just said, but of course Stefano was there. And Ed Smell. And I
didn't see that group at all other than on Instagram.
I had a great day, but I'm gutted I missed that, because apparently from when I was speaking to Mike, Stefano had to really pull it out on his last clean and jerk. And
I love it when he does that as well, because he did that at the British.
Smashed it.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
What's that dude's name? CrossFit dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, don't you?
Richie.
That's it, Richie. Anyway, him.
Yeah.
When Stefano had to ram a load on the bar and just go out and do it, and then he power jerked it instead of squat jerked it, because he was just like, no, I am having this lift. I love watching him do that.
This is my
yeah. He was so pleased with himself. But because I was on the Masters and you were on the women.
Yeah, I missed it.
I'm not sure. I don't really feel like I've seen much of the men's lifting at all.
No.
So who did I do today? I did the women today. You did.
I got to do
You
the men.
got to do some of the men. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Especially the last group, which we'll come to in a minute. But
yeah. But yeah, so Saturday, great day. Just very long.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's nice. I think it's just nice that the atmosphere is changing.
yeah,
So yeah, Sunday today has been really, really good. I don't know how many records have been set across the period, but I feel sorry for Claire, who's the one that's got to go in and manually update them all. So I pretty much spent the day marshalling, to be fair. I didn't ref. I was supposed to be technical controller, but I got swapped.
you were supposed to be reffing as well, but you swapped.
I was supposed to be reffing, but I got swapped.
Yeah.
Did I only marshal? Great.
Yeah.
This is why I've had such a good day. It's my favourite sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to marshal some really good groups. So, yeah, I got women's 81s.
Oh, did you have Mercy Brown and
At the end, yeah.
Yeah.
Mercy Brown, Crystal Campbell,
Yeah.
Rashan.
Oh,
Yeah. Alex Cave was in that group.
yeah,
Clementine. Yeah, it was a really good group. I mean, there was loads of really good groups.
yeah,
But my favourite bit of today, from what I TO'd, was a little bit of a tussle between Lottie Absalom and Deborah Alawode. Like, I wanted them both to win because it was so much fun. Because Lottie just peaks on the snatch, so she got the 100 snatch, which put her quite a bit ahead, really, compared to Debbie. And Julie, her coach from Oxford Power Sports, she was saying to me, I've done this and now I feel sick. Like, this could really bite me. This could really not have gone well. But little Lottie had it in the bag, like, didn't even try. I went out and pretended to be technical controller so that I could watch it. And she just snuck under the bar and stood it up like it was nothing.
wow,
It was really impressive, and considering how tall she is, and she's quite young as well.
yeah,
So to have that pressure to do the 100 on the platform, to give her all those extra kilos because she knows that she's, not as competitive compared to Debbie with the clean and jerk, was really clever. It was really... That's the bit that I love about the Marshall's table, is that sort of the coach interaction and the games that they play, and that's what was happening all around between Amy and Julie, and they love each other. But,
yeah,
and that's what I like. Like, they get on, they're really good friends, but they're just gaming one another to try and get their athlete to win. And it did just come down to Debbie on one snatch. She does this thing sometimes where she sort of Bulgarian split squats it when she just can't stand it up. Sort of threw her out. But yeah, Debbie took the gold in the end with the cleaner jerks. But it was close. It was close. But really, it's nice when it's competitive like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Good group. And then obviously my last group with Mercy Brown. I mean, she just had to show up and she had gold.
She's so strong.
Lynette announced it as soon as she finished her first lift. Like, well, she's already got the gold. But she went to, I think it was 132, her final clean jerk.
Yeah, she lifted at our comp, didn't she?
Yeah,
at Atticus.
yeah.
And it was an absolute pleasure to have her.
Yeah.
There. She's so strong, and very graceful as well. It's not. She's so chilled. I mean, when you see her, she's just like, headphones in.
Yeah, super relaxed.
Yeah.
Super relaxed. But yeah, so I had a great day. Yeah, I had 2 really good days, really. Saturday was lots of fun, and Sunday just sitting in my favourite place.
Yeah.
Even though the systems were slightly different and I would have really liked it the way I like it, it worked well.
Yeah. One of the coaches hadn't been there yesterday and turned up. He's like, saw us passing bits of paper between us and the front desk. He's like, are you going to get carrier pigeons in next?
I kept calling them kites. Like in prison when you send a kite. Throw it at my runner.
But no, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm having to refer to the start list because I was slightly gutted because when we did the walkthrough, there's a few people that mentioned, of course, Cyril Thatchett, who is
They're in Bahrain. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'd seen him on Instagram, but when Matt turned up, I just sort of figured that he'd been out there doing, because he's a representative.
Yes, yeah.
Something, but I can't remember what it is. So I thought he was just out there for that and then coming back and then lifting. But obviously he's out there lifting.
Yeah, same as Marius.
Yes, who was, again, I was gutted not to see her lift.
Yeah.
But what better place to be, I mean.
Yeah, we can watch her in Bahrain, watch her on the live stream from Bahrain, but yeah.
So instead we had Myron Madden, Steve Westman, who else was in there? Charlie Stone, of course, and Jake Allen. I have to mention him because we watch him a lot.
Oh, he's the split snatcher.
There you go, yes.
Do you know, I love the fact that he's a split snatcher because you only really see that with the masters.
Yeah.
And split snatching is an art.
Yeah.
I mean, a snatch is like poetry. And I don't know that a split snatch is quite as poetic, but there's something...
Oh, when he does it.
There's something artistic about being able to split snatch. I'm really annoyed at myself that I'm going to have to ask you his name, but remind me the split snatcher, the master.
Oh, Stuart Coates.
Stuart Coates, that's it, yeah. Watching him is just as impressive as watching a good snatch. So yeah. Jake Allen's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watch him on Instagram a lot and think, yeah, really perfecting that down.
Yeah, it was a shame he came out and the platform was a bit dusty from the chalk, and so his first one, his back foot slipped, and he obviously missed it. And as he walked off, he's like, "Please clean the platform." And so it was cleaned, and he came back on. But again, it was I can't remember. But as he came back on, nailed his next two.
Yeah.
But it's, I imagine for those that aren't, say some of the CrossFitters that were walking past and are used to just snatch and clean and jerk,
Of
to
course,
see
could you
someone
imagine?
come in and do that, they would literally draws
Draws
hit
drop.
the floor.
Honestly, to be fair, the first time, I think you didn't tell me, purposefully the first time I saw Stuart do a split snatch.
I wouldn't.
Because my jaw hit the floor, because I was like, what kind of, how?
Yeah.
How? And even the split clean, because Stuart does split clean as well.
Yeah.
And I still, my brain still can't quite figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, impressive.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is impressive.
But so for that one, great to see Myron absolutely smash it. Charlie Stone won that.
He won the group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is super strong. Again, he's a masters lifter.
There were a lot of masters that were in the seniors, which is great to see.
Yeah.
It just shows you what hard work does.
Yeah. Good to see Sam Finch. He was at Atticus as well.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had the 109s as well. So who did we have in that one? I can't remember whether I was... So Oliver Jackson was in there. Oh no, I didn't do that one.
No, you did one. You did
I was
109.
off, I was taking.
Yeah,
taking
you did
photos.
109 plus. So you had the one with
Well,
Matt Brooks and Amir. I've forgotten his surname, but he was the poor boy that timed out last year when I had to give him a red, and I feel terrible for it still now.
Jasper Hilton.
Yes. Yeah, Benedict.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Benedict,
big groups.
Of course. Yeah. So
Blips.
and Christoph Bez as well.
Yeah.
Who's another great. I like watching him lift, but Benedict. I mean, he's. So I think he. What is it? It was
He's
last
something
year.
else.
He had a bit of a struggling year, sort of.
I think he had an
few
injury
his
or
back
he had some
something,
kind of
wasn't it?
niggle, yeah.
And this year, his training's been absolutely on point. Again, came to Atticus and lifted with us.
Yep.
And had an absolute stormer. You say he got the total for?
He secured the total to qualify for the Commonwealth training team. So not the Commonwealth, but the training team.
Which is insane, isn't it? I mean, that's great.
Yeah. And to be fair, when he did it at Atticus, it was light work. Like, it didn't lock hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so he came out and had, I've forgotten the numbers, I meant to take a picture, but snatch was just beautiful. They really were great.
His snatches always are, though. He's another one that's just poetically sort of, he starts here, ends there, and I'm not quite sure what happens in between, but he's underneath it.
Yeah, I was speaking to Sammy coming over from Oldbury, yeah. And we were having a chat, and it's a show. Well, it's a testament to Benedict and his lifting, because when he went out, the whole place was everyone just gravitated to it. And so he was there, and he said he's a big lad, isn't he? And we both were sort of gushing over him, you know.
I just want to say, fueled by Greg's sausage rolls.
Good,
Yes, he's a big lad, but he's fueled by Greg's, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Who was it that came off, and then it was Claire said was fueled by fish fingers. That was in the same group. You've just said his name. He was lifting next to Benedict. They both went out at the same time. Missed his last one. Jay something. Not Jason.
Oh, Jasper.
Yeah, Jasper. Yeah, fueled by fish fingers.
20 years old? 21, I think he is. That's it. Yeah. But yes, so he went out on his last one, which was like, I don't know, 500 kilos. No, it wasn't, but it was, 191. Is it 191?
Yeah. Well, the clean jerk for Benedict was 191. He asked for 190, and Claire put 191 on.
Yeah. And had it just for a moment, and then he said he felt his hip go a bit, and I think just that self-preservation, because when you got 191 kilos over your head, you're like, I need to get the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
And so he jumped out of the way and was on the floor, and I saw it, looked at him, and so I went darting over, and he looked at me, and I said, "Are you all right?" He's like, "No, I don't think so." And my heart sank.
Yeah. I joined the barrier of people, but obviously he got up and he walked it off, and he's saying he's fine, so let's not dwell on it. You know?
No.
You move on.
I think he'll be a bit stiff tomorrow, but
he'll be fine.
He got up and got his
Benedict.
medal.
Yeah, so it's Benedict.
Got his medal,
I got no concerns, you know. He smashed it.
Strong. Love him. Yeah.
Absolutely smashed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, really great weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, different feel to the British, but understandable, I think.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I really enjoyed about it, and we touched on it on one of the walkthroughs, was the so obviously they have the powerlifting, and they normally do it at the end, or at the end of the weekend, really, don't they?
Yeah.
But the great thing was that they'd set up the benches in between in the warm up area.
Yeah.
And so whilst we were finishing on Saturday, we were just sort of packing up and getting ready to go after a long day, and we turned around, and it was the men's. I don't follow the powerlifting.
It was lots of bench pressing.
It was some serious bench pressing.
And I have to admit that you say it was as we were packing up and leaving, and I was wandering over there and spying on it all the way through that last group. I filmed a guy and then thought to myself, probably should have asked his coach if that was all right, but the guy got up and nodded at me, so I figured it was okay. But what did he have on the bar then? It was about 170 something. Jeez. And he was pausing it on his chest and then bringing it up. And then he was the same guy that as we left, we saw him go out to do 182 bench press, para. But I don't know, if that was a first attempt. I don't know how many attempts they get or anything. I don't know if it was PB or whatever, but it doesn't really matter to me because 182 kilos is not something that you bench press. 182 kilos is something that very strong people deadlift.
Yeah, well, interesting to say, because I was speaking to someone else and they were saying that because they're off, coming back off the Paris stuff and all the champs there, that they weren't maxing out. This was just
fun.
Yeah,
just to chill.
This was just the English Championships where they were just sort of.
It's just insane to me that anybody can bench press that.
I know. Well, it's 100 kilos more than me. 180.
It's just insane, but amazing to have. At the end of the day, British weightlifting does cover the weightlifting and powerlifting. So having us all in one space, much like how many episodes have we said now? It's so nice to have the masters, the seniors, everybody in the same warm-up area. You're warming up alongside one another. Why wouldn't that also extend to what is essentially our sister sport, and have us all getting to know one another as well? Because that's the only way that you come to appreciate what each other does.
Yeah.
Because I can't say. I mean, I follow the Instagram account and I watch it and think that's incredible, but it doesn't mean all that much to me. But to see it actually happening has now made me think, ooh,
you're not doing bench.
Oh no! I couldn't do bench anyway, but it's made me think. Oh, if I had a group off, and they were the powerlifting was happening at the same time, I wouldn't go mooching for free samples. I would be watching the incredible bench pressers.
Without a doubt.
Would I necessarily have thought that if we weren't all mixed together? Would I have had the thought independently? Let me go and hunt them down. No. So I think that was a really innovative thought. So kudos to whoever at BWL thought, do you know what? Yeah, stick the benches in between all the warm-up platforms so we're all together.
Yeah, but Matt always says it, doesn't he? When if you listen to the AGM and when he's talking about British weightlifting, it is British weightlifting and powerlifting.
He always says that.
He never sort of stops.
No, it's always all of it.
Yeah. So love it.
Yeah. So that's been our weekend.
Yeah.
And we would stop there, but we are going to drone on at you a little bit more because there's actually been quite a lot going off in weightlifting recently. So much so that I just have not kept up enough. Aaron's going to try and show off his shirt. Mainly, he's showing off his shirt because we've now got UK distribution of Liu Xiaozhen's store in the name of Bioli, run by our friend Shemek Barak from Hampshire Barbell. And he's sporting his Lu Hunhuao t-shirt,
I got
fanboy over.
A fanboyed.
He fanboys over. The reason we both got this t-shirt, the reason we got this t-shirt is because Aaron pretty much got this exact same photo from Paris when we were sat on the front row for his group, which you would find on our Instagram. This bit here where he's cheering is, I'm pretty sure, stolen from your photo. Although I'm sure lots of people did get it. But yeah, so big shout out to Shemek for all the work that he puts in to get us that stuff, because obviously paying the import fees and the shipping and all that stuff.
I know. I mean, we've switched for the tape because I'm a bit of a wuss with my thumbs, so I use that non-stop. Yeah. And it cost you a fortune. It cost me a fortune. Not me.
But the Lu tape is it's definitely something different. Although, we've gone off on a little bit of a tangent, but that was just a quick shout out to a local-ish, as in UK-based news. We do now have UK distribution of Lu Xiaozhen, so we don't have to be shipping it in from Holland, which is great, because does any of us want to be paying £18 shipping? No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I got a tangent.
Yeah.
But news,
lots and lots of weightlifting news. So I'm going to go straight in with probably the most controversial of them, which will be the weight categories. Yeah. So 8, was it? 8 weight categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, change is afoot.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're looking at me to say good or bad, or just an opinion?
No, I don't really have an opinion. I think
Okay.
I'm just sort of... Change is change, isn't it? It's sport. It is what it is.
I think people get frustrated by change through dictation rather than change through explanation and maybe consultation. I don't think people understand where they're coming from. And, when we've spoken to people about it, and get the rationale behind it, it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree that I think the IWF generally could do a better job of sharing more of what happens in the background around discussion. So there's lots of legitimate reasons as to why the weight categories have changed.
Yeah.
What it says online is, yay, new weight categories. So that bit I totally get. I think people probably do need to dial back the getting frustrated without consultation thing, because we can't be consulted on everything, and we had this exact same thing when it went to you must be weighed in singlets, and everybody complained, and actually it's made life so much simpler. The athletes love it, the TOs love it, weigh-in is quicker, we can get onto that with the SBD thing, but change is scary and has an impact, but it isn't always a bad thing. I think the weight categories, I think maybe the reason I haven't put a lot of effort into reading all that much about it is because a lot of people don't seem very happy, and I don't know that I've got the energy for the negativity, because I can kind of understand why things have to change sometimes. I do get that it's frustrating, especially when records have to be reset, or if you've worked really hard to sit in one group, or you've sat in one group for a really long time. I understand that, but for the longevity of the sport, I can't believe that the IWF would make changes that weren't going to try and appease that. But
I think they look at, they look at the competition schedules. Oh, sorry, the competitions that get run. So you look at the Europeans, the Worlds, and then if you look at the Olympics and where that was run, I mean, obviously there was a much more reduced footprint of groups.
Yeah.
And we're lucky because it's been guaranteed that we're weightlifting in 2028.
Yeah.
And hopefully with more groups.
Yeah.
And so they're obviously, that's
they're tying it in.
The eye.
Yeah.
The eye's on the prize for that one.
Yeah.
And so to do that, and then seeing how quickly they could turn around a tournament, rather than spending, the countries that host, the Europeans and the Worlds at the moment, are spending a fortune.
Yeah.
And they don't really get that many people and spectators, so it's,
Yeah.
you've got to be clever with the money. It's not a rich sport.
I think maybe it's because I'm just so I don't know what the word is. Low down the pecking order. I don't know what the word is to explain it. Is that I just see those sort of things when they come in with the new weight categories and automatically assume, well, must be beneficial to the athletes at the top of their game, and therefore, fuck what changes that makes to me, because the women's categories, it does now put me in a predicament of going, I sort of sit directly in the middle of, I've either got to go down or up. I wouldn't sit naturally in either of them. So it would put me in a predicament, but I didn't look at it and think that. I looked at it and thought, okay, so that's obviously something to do with the Olympics. And I think that's what people need to bear in mind, is that the sport is funded primarily because it's an Olympic sport. And so for us, particularly from UK sport, we're only going to get more money into BWL if we have more athlete representation at the Olympics. So if that means weight category changes, if whatever that means, I don't really care. If it means that the likes of Emily Pelter, Eliza Pratt, Myra Madden, all these amazing young lifters that are coming through to be the next generation of Olympians, if it means they get more of a chance to be on a platform, I don't really care. They want to change the weight categories, let them change the weight categories.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, obviously, one of the main, one of the other reasons we were told is that, the lighter groups and the heavier groups don't have that many lifters as the middle groups do.
Yeah.
So why don't you change those groups to try and encompass more people and spread out the groups a bit more?
Well,
It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, your women's and your men's 81 area is rammed.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you? Yeah. It does make sense. And the Olympics did run well.
Yeah.
And if we can, that's the other thing is obviously for the Olympic athletes, some of them, Toma, her group didn't exist, so then you end up in a different. They end up having to go into different weight categories than the one that they train in naturally. That should be us as the amateurs that go into categories that we wouldn't normally train into or that we don't sit comfortably with. Not the Olympians. They should. That's what the sport should be geared for, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how many people are going to have agreed with that or not, but feel free to disagree with me and
let us know.
Leave me a little comment. That's fine. I'm happy to have the conversation. But I personally think, yeah, fair. Let's go with it.
Yeah.
Let's go with it. I think we'll probably come back to it in January when we've got a bit more information about, what the implications might be and when that might come into force and, when the qualification total. So we'll probably we'll circle back to and talk about in a bit more depth, but it's certainly a change that sort of came from nowhere, but lots of stuff happened in a very short amount of time, and that was one of them. Yeah.
Another one was the what would you call it? Reconfirmed partnership with the ITA.
Yeah.
So the International Testing Association.
Yep.
Or agency, which we're massively in favour of. It's
It keeps the sport alive, doesn't it? It keeps, when you look, what was it, the post that we shared the other day that said every single weightlifter was tested at the Olympics? Yeah,
so in the period leading up to the Olympics, they're all tested. And of all the sports, the weightlifting athletes were the most tested.
Yep, which is great. Good.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah, I love it. And obviously that's not to say that there aren't ways around it, but it makes it more difficult. Yeah. So it makes the sport fairer, and that's all we really want. Well, fairer and more guaranteed spots in the Olympics. So
yes,
yeah, yeah.
So
it's great news.
With that.
Yeah, and they did turn up. UCADA, they did turn up, didn't they? Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah,
at
in
the
fact,
English. So
we were just about to nip. Well, I was just about to nip into the loo, which was the UCADA loo. Hoping that they weren't around. They'd already gone for the day, and Benedict was in there getting tested. So
yeah, exactly,
love it, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and they can turn up at any comp. So yeah, great.
Yeah,
all for it.
Yeah. Other news was that the youth and the juniors worlds are going to be sort of held together. So that's in Lima in Peru again. So it was last year they did. It was at Lima, in Lima again. So
yeah, because I was jealous.
Well, yeah. Guess who's putting their name down for that one?
Yeah, of course you are. Yeah.
So I'm hoping. I love Peru. But anyway, but that's great. And again, I think it goes to show that it's a sport that needs to be a bit more conscious of the money they're spending. That if you combine, so they'll be running 2 platforms. Then you can combine the sport, combine the championships together, and get the most bang for your buck.
Yeah, I think it's about entertainment as well.
Yeah,
and just
2 platforms.
I think it's
talented lifters.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just trying to bring weightlifting into the modern world, and I really do see that happening now. It does definitely feel like things are changing, and like you say, combining it, 2 platforms, making it a bit more fun. Youth, juniors. The juniors get to look at the youths and think, and some of them are competitive against one another as well, which is, to me, that's what the sport is the competition, isn't it? So yeah, lots of good stuff coming out. But obviously, my favourite bit of news most recently is the collaboration with the IWF and SBD.
Yes.
Mainly because Sheffield is not far from my hometown, which is not in the north, although most people in the south seem to think it is in the north. It is in the Midlands.
The north.
It is in the Midlands.
It's
but
what?
SBD is in the Sheffield is in the East Midlands.
Get out of here.
Yes, it is in the East Midlands.
It's Newcastle, isn't it?
No.
Mm.
Anyway.
They got coal mines there.
So, yes.
It's in the north.
No, it's not. But it's great. It's great. It's great on so many levels. Firstly, I'm going to say it's great because SBD are based in the UK.
Yeah.
So, for money-wise, not to be like all about the money, but SBD being a UK-based brand, I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Especially for the IWF to sort of sign on as a partnership. I think that's great. I personally love the idea of national singlets.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of equalising, like levelling the playing field at national level in the sense of, you know, everybody gets a singlet from the same place. I don't know if that's, you know, we haven't, it's all speculation at the moment, I think is another thing to point out, is a lot of the messages that we've been getting online to the bar account, it's what we think that collaboration looks like, or it's what people are imagining that collaboration is going to look like. And I suppose I would just say it's maybe not worth getting wound up about things until we know for sure. So
yeah, I mean, you've got to think of the likes of China with Anta and
they're never
companies
going
like
to.
that.
Yeah,
They wouldn't ditch Anta. So there's going to be some leeway.
USAW and Nike.
Yeah, so there's got to be, you know, a pool of
there'll be a selection of, but there'll just be a preferred.
Yeah,
you know, there'll be a this is the default, and if you go somewhere else, then that's your choice. Like China will always go for Anta, and that's their choice. But the default will be SBD could provide your national singlet, rada.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want me a pair of knee sleeves that say times BWL on them or something like that. Yeah.
But as well as I think, you know, it'd be nice to get a bit of standardisation on the cut, the weights, because, you know, I think that whole weighing thing, you know, this 250 gram rule thing is, we know how to take advantage of it. And so hopefully standardising, you know, sort of the uniform does away, well, maybe not doesn't do away with it, but just negates the whole fact that you could walk in with this, let's say, skimpiest Borat mankini of singlets, but you know, you don't. It's more of a weight category again, rather than people taking advantage of it. Yeah,
I totally agree. Especially when, I mean, again, it's not the same thing, but I was looking at some of the lifters over this weekend, and some of the singlets, I'm not entirely sure are they singlets, because they don't even have a back.
Yeah.
Technically, when you read the rules, it's defined as a singlet, but I'm not sure it is. But anyway, the 250 rule, the singlet rule, it's always bothered me a little bit, especially when you think about the larger athletes and they, you know, 109 plus, 87 kilo plus. Singlets, it's just more fabric, so it's going to weigh a little bit. It's going to weigh more, so naturally then the 250 gram rule leans itself towards helping out the lighter weight athletes. So if there is that standardisation where everybody gets their singlets from the same place, maybe, you know, there could be a way for us to negate that and for it to be a bit fairer. Who knows? We'll have to see. Like I say, everything's speculation at the minute, but any collaboration with a UK-based provider is good for us at British weightlifting, I think.
Yeah.
Especially because SBD are a partner. So,
indeed.
Yeah.
They were there today as well, weren't they? Or all weekend. It was good to see them.
Yeah, so all of BWL's sponsors were in a row. I actually didn't get a chance to go and see SBD. Everything they had was orange, which was interesting.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I didn't stop.
Holly would have done, though. Holly Baker.
Yes.
Holly Baker and orange. But I also saw a Laco. I think I saw a Laco. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, lots going on.
Yep.
Lots going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's probably a wait and see.
Well,
watch this space.
I'll tell you who will be able to help clarify some of those points. Our own CEO, Mr. Curtin, who will be appearing on the next
one with a guest, I reckon.
Yeah, next one with the guest podcast, where we will be grilling him. So he had an easy ride last time, and he came off the end of it and said, I was expecting a bit more. So this time, if you got questions, within reason,
I'm going to put it on the story.
Yeah.
What do you want to ask Matt?
What do you want to ask him? And we will grill him.
Look, we've got to keep the relationship. So what was it you said? It's a family show. It's a family show. But yes, so yeah, I reckon between now and then there's going to be an episode where you're going to be suffer through just Aaron and I again. Talking, because I would really like to come back to the weight categories and stuff when we've got more information. I don't want to keep banging on about it and just fueling the speculation. So, you know, when we've got more information about what that looks like, so I think January, we can come back. And then I think we've got Matt booked in for February. So he will be the next guest. And if we don't have answers, he most certainly will. Indeed. As an executive board member of the IWF, pretty sure he knows what he's on about. But great weekend.
Yep.
I actually don't think we don't have another big comp now until Banger.
The old
but
masters.
What we do have coming up is MEMS charity. Yeah, MEMS charity comp. And I absolutely love reffing at MEMS. Yeah, that atmosphere, you know, the way Mem and Sylvia are so accommodating of everyone. I'd never known two people put everybody else before themselves like the way they do. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to just having a nice day there. Nice tier 3. The start list looks good. Yeah, so I think that will be our next rollout in a ref chair.
Before Christmas.
Just before Christmas, yeah.
In fact, yeah. So that's it for this year.
Oh my God. Where's the year gone? Cool.
Yeah. So, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. We'll see you in 2025.
Happy New Year. What the hell?
We'll see you in 2025.
Say that, but yeah. See you 2025.
Yeah, weird. But yeah, all right. Cheers.
Take care.
Done. Can I retire now?
You've been listening to the Bar, strength in every story. Thanks so much for listening. We're so happy to have you as a member of our community. We have a passion for weightlifting, but we also have an insatiable curiosity about everyone's story. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on Instagram at _2_the bar. And be sure to hit the website at 2-thebar.com. See you next time on To The Bar. And remember, there's strength in every story.